greatest form of control is where you think you're free when you're being fundamentally manipulated and dictated to. One form of dictatorship is being in a prison cell and you can see the bars and touch it. The other one is sitting in a prison cell but you can't see the bar, you think you're free. What the human race is suffering from is mass hypnosis. We are being hypnotized by people like this. Newsreaders, politicians, teachers, lecturers. We are in a country and in a world that is being run by unbelievably sick people. The chasm between what we're told is going on and what is really going on is absolutely enormous.
And yes, thank you for joining me for another episode of the Red Pill Hardcore TV show. I am V as usual, and today, well, I gotta break it to you guys. I'm not ready to continue the show on its regular, on its new updated format. Well, I am ready technically, but I actually finally got a hold of someone I've been trying to talk to for quite some time now. And this person has a testimony, and I've been wanting to release it so very badly. And I actually finally got his permission to do so. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have underground rapper Double E, Earl Price, if you know him by that name. And his testimony blows me away. And I think it's a real gem to the truther community, and how African Americans in the United States are going underneath such horrendous PSYOPs. You people have heard it the way I explain it. I think this will be very beneficial to hear it straight from someone who doesn't have the technical background that I have, or the upbringing that I had. This guy's your average guy who had simple dreams of being a musician, being a rap artist, and he went through hell. So I'm so pleased to be able to present this to you. This is the testament of Earl Price.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Earl Price. I go by the rap name of Double E. And what I'm talking about right now is something serious. Most people think it's a gimmick. Most people think it's a game. And in a sense it is a game, but it's not a gimmick. What I'm going to tell you is some realistic stuff that's going on. And for one, I've already had a competency hearing test where I am competent, so you're not hearing this from a person who is classified as incompetent. I'm very competent, meaning that I have a sense of knowledge of what's going on in this world. And what I want to explain to you people is that for many, many years, I've always felt like there's been coincidences that kept adding up to more coincidences that added up to the point where it's not a coincidence. It's regimentated. And people that go through what I'm going through, they go through a lifestyle of things that have been actually regimentated. And when I say regimentated, some people have been through situations where you may meet certain people, or certain people may come towards you, and you get involved in certain activities, and the activities that you get involved in with these people were designed, regimentated through them or someone around them. In other words, say for instance, if you met me and all of a sudden you and I, we go out to a club and I start throwing bottles everywhere because somebody told me to do that to make you look bad. So that was regimentated. And what I'm talking about is not based upon just regimentated things and coincidences. What I'm talking to you about is what we have going on in society today, and it's described as what we have here, RNM, remote neural monitoring. And I just realized what I was going through recently, but from the beginning of these things that I felt were coincidences and being regimentated, I've always felt something that was going on within my body and my surroundings that was regimentated. Okay, I've had situations where I had voices, I would have images that were embedded in my mind frame, as far as it's seeming as if my mind and brain was linked up to a projector. The old school projectors, when you were in school, the teacher would put down some type of paper where there'd be a light that would allow a certain image being on the wall or the screen. And remote neural monitoring, I just realized today that, the government does this to people that are against the government, and other people that are outside of it. But what I went through, it's more like the government was involved, because let me explain to you. For one, my mom, she used to frown a lot, and she died of a heart attack. She never really complained too much about her heart, but one day she just mysteriously died, right? She died in a parking lot in college at UCLA, continuation college course, and it was labeled to be heart failure. I just recently found out that R&M, remote neural monitoring, can affect your heart rate, because I've had situations that my heart rate went really fast. I became paranoid, scared. I'm labeled a paranoid schizophrenic based upon what the government has done to me, certain people involved in it. And with me, it gets deeper than it has with other people, because I'm also a film writer, and I'm an inventor, and I'm a musician. And I've noticed that the coincidences and the regimentated things that were going on in my life were displayed through media, music, and surroundings. I would go to the hospital. When I first went to the hospital, which was at Martin Luther King in Compton, right? I went there because at that time I had this chemically imbalanced feeling in my brain where I could feel like the nerves in my brain and the neurons, or whatever you want to call that, were interfering with my natural thoughts. I would say something to myself, but it wouldn't be my thought. And that thought would be negative, and then my natural reaction from that negative thought, I would fight it and battle it. And I would be upset. I didn't say that. That wasn't me. I didn't say that. Who the fuck is saying this, right? And what they don't want you to let you know is most doctors, psychiatrists, therapists, they know about this. This is why they always ask people, do you hear voices? What are they telling you? And you think in your mind frame they're asking you that so they can help you. But in reality, they're asking you that so they can see how accurate the technology is being affected upon human beings. And that is the whole loophole to it. They want you to be written off as disabled so you won't have any credibility upon the things that you know that's going on with your body, that you know that's not right. Unfortunately for this people in my situation, I'm competent. Okay, I reacted in a situation based upon these games that were played on me to be upset regarding my career in music and a DJ that he may have nothing to do with the facts that I got upset about, but someone sent him a subliminal message through the radio to get at me, and I reacted in the wrong way. Now, when I say regimentated, I also mean in a sense where during that time I was in California, and even here in Colorado, but I'm explaining about California, I would say, for instance, catch the bus, and I would see people, and I would see someone say colors, 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 or I see a dysfunctional person throwing up a gang sign that I also saw on TV on a routine commercial. When Neighbors from Hell came out, the cartoon, there was also another episode that was called a Hawthorne, where Jada Pinkett was saying, I got this. And this is one of the stages for me was being experimented upon during these times in California. And additional to that, what they tried to do was brainwash and manipulate my mind frame to have murderous thoughts. I felt that they were trying to set me up and frame me for something that I didn't do. I lost a lot of friends that I consider associates and family members and everything else. And from time to time, I try to envision how could they have died? What happened? How could it be this? Could it be that? And it took a long time for me to actually realize that in my mind frame that someone wanted someone else to manipulate them to believe that I'm part of bad things that I'm not. I'm not from a gang and none of that. But what I went through is deeper than just these people playing psychological warfare games. I've been falsely accused of crimes that were later dismissed. Some crimes I had to plead guilty to. But during the time of some of these crimes that they've had incarcerated me on, the police would send subliminal messages. They would say certain things. Then when I go to jail, certain people would say certain things. So when I get out of jail, I would react on it. So now I have a situation where I'm going to jail for nothing, and then I'm getting subliminal messages, and it doesn't make sense. But when I get out, I become paranoid for my surroundings and people around me. There was a situation where I was put over in Orange County, California, had a Dodge Magnum, and this officer just pulled me over for no reason. He found a crack rock in my car. And I really didn't know about this drugs in my car. Years ago, I was culprit of having to survive, being a small-time drug dealer, and the police officer pulled me over then, and he told me, an informant told him that he knew I had drugs in my car, and I lied, and I went to jail for that, for possession. But in this Orange County case, I swear, I really didn't know anything about it. But it's no coincidence I never talked to anybody about what it was I done on the streets, what I do on the streets, my name, and at 4 o'clock in the morning, days later, I'm getting released, and all of a sudden somebody says, hey, they say my name and said something else, and that's what they do to you. They would put you in situations where you know in your heart, you don't deserve to be here, but it's all a mind game. And my only question is, why me? Why did these people want to misinterpret my good deeds and mess with someone really that, wrong place, wrong time? Was it just because you guys wanted to experiment on me? I don't know. But please believe, I'm not making this up. I've recently Googled all this stuff and found other people that's been just like me, so I'm deciding to speak upon this. Because from the beginning of time, when I first went to Martin King Hospital, before the movie Inception came out, and keep in mind, I do have mentors that are affiliated with Hollywood, entertainment people that are into media, film writing, and it's just quite awkward. My name is Earl Price, and I did write an autobiography based upon my life, and the thesis of it was, karma. In the beginning of the sentence, my name is Earl. Anybody that writes movies and film scripts, for a fact there's 3 elements to writing a film script. You have a thesis, a subplot, and a turning point. And my thesis was the main thing that these people had took just to rub in my face, right? And I was always upset about that. But later on in life, I noticed when I was in hotels, I would have someone snap their fingers, clap their hands, and hit their laps. Kind of like this. And then I would hear people say other things. And there's one time when I actually left a hotel room in Pasadena around 2009, and I saw some Caucasian men that looked like they were like the CIA, the feds or something. It could have been paparazzi, I don't know, but they had all these kind of like mechanical equipment inside their room. Their door was cracked open, and the female that I was with, we walked out and I glanced at it and I saw this technology, and like, why would these people have this? What the fuck are they doing? These people filming a movie in a room or something? And come to find out later on, this has something to do with the whole R&M stuff that I'm going through, I assume. And long story short, based upon the elements that I realized in my mind when I first started being frustrated and confused and paranoid behind things I didn't understand, it didn't just happen in California. There was a time where I was in Seattle. When I left Colorado to go to Seattle, and people would say certain things. Everything that I would do would be a mockery. If I donated finances or food to the homeless person, they would turn into a TV show, Hunger Games. Or if I moved to a certain state, they would promote TV shows like Survivor's Island. But in California, it really got real worse because whoever was doing this, they didn't want something positive to happen for me. There's a lady named Jill Girl from CreateNow.org who's a film writer. She helps a lot of people, and someone around her circle and her environment knows what's going on, because she said one key thing that allows me to understand somebody around her knows what's going on. Because I'm not saying she's culprit, but she told me, she's like, just relax and have good thoughts, dream. And I don't know if I've been evaluated with the feds, the police, or a hate group, but she told me just relax, try to dream good thoughts, and imagine that all the good things that's going to happen to you. Unfortunately, someone at that point of time wanted to manipulate my thoughts, my dreams, and turn them into nightmares. Have you ever seen the movie Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street, where he's controlling people through their dreams? Have you ever seen the video with Slim Shady and Eminem, these voices, guilty consciences? Certain people have exposed this technology, and it's right in your face, and you don't understand. You would think, oh, this is just a movie, even Inception. Around my times of going through what I went through, it's documented that I went to Martin King Hospital right before this movie Inception came out, like a month or 2 later, maybe 3 months later, tops, if that. Okay, so I know I was experimented upon. I was in situations where I would catch the Greyhound bus and there would be people saying certain things, wear certain shirts, punk, Greyhound River Killer, Green River Killer, and all kind of stuff. And these people that are controlling the R&M, they can really manipulate you to do things you don't want to do. There's been a time when I went to a hospital and I was trying to drive to the same hospital because I've been there before, and I had a reaction where it felt like there's 2 different people. Now that I know it's R&M, there's 2 different people that was into this R&M process with me, and there was one trying to pull me this way, pull me that way. So I was like in my truck, and I'm like going like this, and I would have a street name in my head, and it was just like a crazy bad dream. I would go to this street, and then something told me go to this street, and it took a long time for me to find a hospital to go to so I can relax. That was just right there. You know, there's a picture that I had years ago that I was in a black and white suit, and I had zebra print in that picture, and all of a sudden, from getting on the internet and from in certain places, all of a sudden I'm seeing people with zebra print and all this extra stuff. And majority of the people that's involved in the mind game playing with me are not just white people. You know, I've had whites, Mexicans, and a few black people participate in these situations. There's been times where I was incarcerated under false cases in a different situation in LA County where I was once affiliated with a gang at 15. I was on there for tops 3 months. Never shot nobody, none of that. Everybody that I had conflict with was from this gang. And I made a name for myself. They used to call me Maniac. So I beat up a few different people fresh out of YA. I got a scar right above my eyebrow because this dude hit me in the head with a crowbar. I had guns pointed to my head, you know. And these two dudes that did this to me, Cha-Cha and Baby C from this gang, I saw a rap video that influenced me to try to chase the music career when my mom's died. And I thought maybe if I joined the gang and I could show people how tough I am, I'll get my big break. And I walked away from all that, and it's no coincidence that when I moved to another city, from Leavenworth to Compton, the same person that hit me here with a crowbar and all this stuff, all of a sudden now his mother's right across the street from the school. They owned a little store. So I have to go to school every day and go to the store to get snacks and see the same dude that jumped me and put heads in my pistol. And it gets deeper than that because there was a female that I was intimate with, but we had protected sex, but I wasn't smart enough to think about that. And she went to a church victory outreach, and she told me one day she was pregnant, and I never thought to get a DNA test. And long story short, I was incarcerated during the time of this kid's birth. I made front page newspaper for Father's Day. They had a teen parenting program in camp called Camp Miller. If you were to Google Earl Price, LA Times, feelingfatherly.com, then you will see that. In addition to that time, I was also affiliated with this music thing where this producer who was affiliated with other people came to teach us kids good things. And, you know, he showed us a lot in the music industry, kind of gave up on us, which kind of broke my spirit. But I noticed he had a lot of enemies. Like, there's a lot of people he spoke highly of, from Dr. Dre and everybody else, Corrupt, Snoop, everybody disowned this guy. They didn't like him. You know, and it kind of put me in a fright stage of trying to continue to do music because I looked up to a lot of people in the music industry, from East Coast, West Coast, North, South. Keep in mind, my daddy died when I was 9, my mama died when I was 15. So even female artists I looked at as mother figures, sister figures, and male artists as brother figures, father figures. So I really didn't have a mentality where I had a hate or dislike for a certain group of people from a different area. Music actually raised me. But long story short, during this time of doing music and stuff, I would notice mockeries in music. There was a song called The Wash. And yes, that was a remake of an original video, Car Wash, but I myself worked at a car wash. And during that time, when I got hit in the head with a crowbar, there's a school that I got hit in the head with. When this person said, let's go for round 2, there's a school called Washington Elementary. And when I was 15, we went to Washington Elementary for round 2. That's when I got hit in the head with a crowbar. So these are the regimentated things in my life that has caused fuel and fire to my confusion. Figuring out now is based upon this R&M stuff that they're doing to people. And it's so cool because you can't really deteriorate or differentiate if it's these people in the music industry, movie industry, or if it's all of them above with the feds and the government. You know, I even had subliminal messages, just move forward, where I felt down. Is Obama trying to send me a message or something? You know, there's been times when I've seen Hispanic people walking around and they would try to like send subliminal message here in Colorado. All of a sudden, I'm here in Colorado working, and I see a lot of Hispanics with LA hats on. And speaking upon that, I was almost murdered in Arizona. You know, I met a female on the internet. She had the whole zebra print stuff, and that kind of lured me to want to go deal with it. I've been seeing it a lot, so they try to make me feel comfortable about that, and I almost got murdered. And the minute that I got away from that, and the police asked me to press charges, I said no. They laughed, they chuckled, and I went off from them, explaining why would you laugh and chuckle upon the situation. They said there was something else going on. But additional to that, I drove miles away to Arizona and Phoenix. I went from Tucson to Phoenix. There's no Hispanics, nobody really in the hospital, just a few people. But I know as soon as I got to the hospital, more people start showing up all of a sudden. And I've went through this same situation in California without me almost being murdered, but I've been in situations where I'd be at hospitals and I would hear people say things in the background. Just like when I was in hotel rooms, I heard people snapping their fingers, clapping their hands, and doing all this extra stuff, you know. And then for some reason, my cousin, he been around me for a while, but it seems like he's been holding out something that I feel that's important information for me, because it was in Hollywood one day, and all of a sudden, he's trying to go talk to this guy about how they do music, and the guy said he knows what you do, this and that, and I'm like, well, hold up, man, I exposed some things that really was true in a different aspect of a lot of stuff, because I had subliminal message and everything that led me to that point to believe like these people already knew what's going on. They already knew what they're doing to me, and I don't know why. There's been situations where I'm doing music and stuff, and I'll make songs and stuff, and I will hear mockeries of other people doing songs, like Ice Cube. I did a rap song a while back saying I'm a blood, I'm a crip, I'm a thug, I'm a pimp. And I don't know the rap video, but this was when I was in Colorado, when I tried to get away from all this stuff in California. Ice Cube's introduction to one of his songs was just a video. He says in the beginning of it, he's a blood, he's a crip. And then later on in that video, there's a person that has a chain on that says sin. And that was another coincidence and another regimented mindfuck, because I do have a little cousin and his murder is unsolved, but supposedly there's somebody named Sin that murdered him. So these are the things that put me through paranoia in the music field and the film field of my life. Most people experience this. They may just deal with people that's making noises, people following them around, acting on them. I've experienced all that plus more. There's been times when I was out here in Pueblo at the Days Inn, and I was at a hotel, and I would have certain thoughts that were not natural thoughts, and based upon these thoughts, I would try to fight these thoughts. I'm like, that's not me saying it. Well, who's doing this? And I would hear dogs like screaming, like when a dog makes a noise like he's hurt, like. So people were utilizing these dogs to do that, and it wasn't voices in my head at that time. This was real life. There's people actually in hotel rooms with dogs. There's Caucasian men on crutches, and one of them was parked in a handicapped place, and they had 211 on the license plate, and that's kind of like another mind fuck at that time, because at that time I didn't even know there was a racial gang called 211. In my mind frame, I thought it was a gang that was based in California, and there was some certain conflicts between people I know between these people, and it really has nothing to do with me, but I thought then that that's what these people were trying to display and mind fuck me upon whatever was going on in California. And in addition to all this, long story short, these people have used R&M upon me so they can manipulate people in my surroundings to kind of believe that I had a murderous mind frame. Like, they will continuously play this commercial. Neighbors from Hell, they're maniacs. Remember, my name used to be Maniac when I was 15, and I was from that gang. And I would change the channel, and it'd be a rerun, something I seen yesterday, where there's someone murdered, and there's a white sheet over them, and there's yellow tape around them. And I would change the channel, I kept saying bad stuff, and at the same time, I could feel the presence of other people in other hotel rooms next door to me. It's like you can feel it. This situation that goes on R&M, a person that really has their natural instincts intact, it's kind of hard for them to fool the mind. Smoking marijuana does open up that point to the point where you can be confused with yourself and saying, is it the weed or is it these people? And, I haven't smoked weed for a while, and I realized, from when I've stopped, it's slowed down, but it still hasn't stopped. The whole R&M games have been played on me. But I do realize the fact that during these times, I would hear people making noises, clapping hands, and I would look around, and all I see is Hispanic and white people. I've seen a few black people. So this is not me trying to point out and take a side for a certain color, a gang, or a group. I really don't know who's involved in this. I'm not racist, I'm not blood, I'm not a Crip, but the mind games that was going on with me, it made it seem like these Crip people were trying to entrap me and frame me and set me up. I've been locked up in certain cases where that same gang, certain people, like the dude that I got in a fight with and beat up, that was 19, fresh out of YA when I was 15. Years later, I get another fraudulent case put on me, and then I'm in jail, and I had a situation where he sent me some noodles and some chips with a note saying, if they ask where you from, say you from here. And the minute they asked me where I was from, I told them I'm from a music group, Young Riders. And during that time, there's a gang called East Coast Crips in the module, and they was taxing people. A dude named Top Dog, I don't know if it's true or not, he said he had 50 years. Come to find out, 4 years later, this dude's somewhere in Arizona. Another coincidence mindfuck. But keep in mind, they fraudulently gave me a jail sentence case and tried to frame me and trap me to be part of a gang I'm not from. And these are the things that actually really, really let me know that during those times, before I realized that this was something that had to do with R&M, then I just felt like I was just being set up in a trap. I've been framed. And now I know I have. Now I know most of the things that I've been through has been regimented. These people have designed these things for this stuff to happen. No difference than when I got into it with a DJ out here in Colorado Springs. During that time, as I indicated, that this person I got into it with because, they were trying to take people's store. This guy stuck his hand in the bars and he really hit me. Colorado Springs, they was promoting this stuff, bitch slap, break your back. I broke my hand, and I went to Fort Collins. There's a doctor named Dr. Chapman. And here's another regimentated mind fuck. I lived on Chapman Drive, Pine Creek apartments, and years later I went to the hospital at Fort Collins, and I have a doctor named Dr. Chapman. And these are the things they do to you to play mind games with you with this whole R&M stuff. And throughout my time in California, I've noticed certain people do the clown walk dance. I paid attention to the Trinity soundtrack, the movie, which was based upon clowns. But I realized what I'm going through is not just about clowns and anything else, because when I was in Colorado, and all of a sudden it went from clowns to lions. And there's something going on in that familiarity, and it's a white society. It's majority white doctors. All the doctors that I had these interactions with have been Caucasian. All these people around me, majority of them have been Caucasian. Few Hispanics. So these things that are happening, please take it serious. This is not like a gimmick, a game. I feel personally I need to speak up for it because, it's not right. I think it needs to be stopped. These people that have had their lives turned upside down need more than just compensation. They need you guys to apologize to them and their families, though. It's not just about finances. You can't put money on a person's life. I almost killed myself a few times behind this R&M game. Sincerely. I've had a situation where I was at a Walmart, there's nobody around, and all of a sudden this lady that works at a Walmart, I don't even know, says, hey, somebody's birthday's coming up. And I looked around like, what the fuck, here we go again. I just left California because I was going through that shit. I went through it here. And that penetrated me to actually try to kill myself again here in Colorado Springs. It led me to want to do another suicide. I tried to jump in front of a car. And naturally, I'm not a suicidal person. I naturally would want to kill myself. But R&M will make you do that. R&M will make a person do that. And it's real unfortunate for the people that's going through this because, it's used by criminals that's tied into the government. It's used by criminals that's not tied into the government. And it's used by government and other people from different countries and states. But for what I've been through, I'm clearly aware that it has to be something governmental because for a person to have fraudulent cases put on him, and it's been regimentated when you're in jail, and it's regimentated when you get out of jail, and it's regimentated when you go to the hospital, and it's regimentated when you leave the hospital. There's a repeated pattern, and a person with common sense. As far as myself, I've always figured something's not right. I felt personally. And every time I went to the hospitals, there's not one time I have not went to the hospital saying someone's misconcepting my thoughts, someone's playing with my thoughts. There's situations where I was in California and I would have all these bad negative images of things that I've seen and things that I've heard, and then trying to figure out what happened around people around me so I won't be victim of what these people are going through. And that kind of put me in a paranoia mind frame, thinking that everything that I'm going through, am I going to be the next person that's going to get killed? Am I the next person that's going to go through something bad? And when you have these feelings, the people that are dealing with R&M, they will not tell the next person that is also monitoring them while they're doing this to you that, these thoughts that he's having is not what he's done or she has done, or these thoughts that he's having is not the thoughts that he has naturally produced for himself. These people would regimentate an environment where they would have things on the media, people around you. You go to a certain hotel, you can't run from it. You really can't. It don't matter if you go from Seattle to California. You can travel many states. I've been in a lot of different states. I've even had regimentated situations in Kansas where, I was in jail and it just seemed awkward and regimentated. And throughout my lifetime, I kept seeing certain numbers. Number 19, number 9. I'll go to jail cell, number 9, number 19, number 9, 19. And I realized when I looked this stuff up recently that there was a female named Julian or something like that who was in a case that was classified. She was an unwilling human being that went through R&M, and her case file was classified as the 9. And I'm not sure if I'm part of the 9 classification situations when they do the R&M to people, but they will mind fuck you. They will lock you up and put you in certain cells. When I went to the hospital to say I need help the first time, they put me in cell 15 at Martin Luther King Hospital, and my mom died when I was 15. So this is serious. I am a person. most people know me. They know, I don't play around. When I put my soul on things, you got to take me serious. If not, then you find an afterlife. And the people that you think are just crazy and cuckoo, then later on, you're going to have to apologize to these people, including myself. This is not a drama situation. This is not a game. This is not a lie. People that go through this stuff, as far as myself, we're like robots. Imagine the Terminator, things that he has prophesied in his movie, to the point where he's an indestructible human being. They can build you up to be strong, powerful, and they can also make you weak. They can make you happy, they can make you sad. They can make you feel like you're in a sexual mode, they can make you feel like you're not in a sexual mode. They can make you feel homicidal, they can make you feel suicidal. They can make you feel in so many ways. And then the messed up part about it, the natural you of who you are, they try to take credit for that. The good things that you do in society, they'll try to take credit and say, well, this thing that he is doing good is because of us. So there's so many interruptions and misconceptions about the R&M situations, because if there's one person monitoring you, and there's people observing this person monitoring you, and you're having all these negative thoughts from this person, or say for instance they're just monitoring you and you're not having any negative thoughts from this person, there could be somebody way else from another country or state, another race, same religion, different religion, that can be monitoring you as well and be effing with you. So while you're being monitored and you're in these hospitals claiming, hey, somebody's messing with my thoughts and this and that, and they're actually had a chance to see that something's going on with you, because they can tell through the neurons in your brain. They can tell because the stuff speeds up. Your heart rate speeds up, so they know when this abnormal activity is going on with your body. That is the only way they can do these things. And there are certain drugs that enhance the ability to do this. They may give you certain stuff. They may send people around you to give you weed, to give you ecstasy, to give you this, the liquor, whatever. And throughout the time, that stuff can utilize a way of your mind being numb to reality. I'm one of the fortunate people that I knew better. I knew my body better than that. And there's so many ways they can do that. From sativa, from indica. They got some of these pills that are different colors, green, red. They got blue pills. You don't know what the formulation of what's in these pills. They even have pills that have dots on them, silver dots and gold dots. And I think those dots, silver and gold, those are things that they also utilize to have a way to track your neurons in your brain. Because when you dissolve it, you take ecstasy, it goes to your brain, and you don't know where those dots go. If anybody's ever seen ecstasy pills with gold dots on them or silver dots, then you too are probably being targeted. You probably are a target of interest person in this R&M games as well. Everything that I went through, it's proven that I was not on any drugs. I only had marijuana in my system. Every hospital visit I went to, I wasn't off ecstasy. I wasn't off any of the way out drugs. I only had marijuana in my system, maybe a little liquor. And there's been times when I wasn't off anything, and I had these problems occur. But I paid attention to my surroundings. I've had people on buses try to interrogate me, saying, "Oh, are you a terrorist?" This and that. And at the time, I was a Christian. I went through most of this stuff as a Christian. I had situations where I got a phone call the minute that I left California, when I started noticing after this mentor, Jill Gordon said, just relax and have good dreams. And I noticed people interfering with my thoughts before she even called. I was having bad dreams and stuff and bad thoughts. I would be up and I would walk around. I would get panicked and leave a hotel room real quick because I could feel the reaction from the technology they had next door. It's that powerful. It's so strong to the point where you can be in a room and you can feel it. You can feel the uncomfort. You can feel when someone else is in another room. You can feel the presence of something not right. And this whole thing is designed for you to look crazy as a motherfucker. This whole thing is designed for you to look stupid. You know what I mean? I'm a very intelligent person, and take me serious, don't take me serious, but I'm not telling a lie. I recently found out the answers to my problems. From the beginning of it, I assumed at a 99.9 rate that someone was manipulating my thoughts and brains and stuff, and my conscience. And it wasn't just the day before yesterday that I'm doing this video that I've got confirmation that it's controlled through R&M and EEG and HAARP, HAARP. There's so many different programs, and these people will do things like that. They'll put cartoons of certain animals or certain numbers, or they'll make it seem like where what you're going through, you're in a world of where now they're playing Hunger Games with you, or now they're playing games like Survivor Island with you, where you have to choose a certain color. And with me, they try to manipulate me to choose a certain color in society as far as Crips or Bloods or this and that, just so they can try to possibly put me in a negative situation for whatever they assumed I was part of when I wasn't. That was the whole mindfuck that I felt. I felt, yeah, they're trying to make me become part of these Crips in jail in California, all this stuff, and they're trying to set me up, and it manipulated me in my mind for like, you can't trust Crips, and now it makes you want to be a Blood because you see what all the things that the Crips done to you. And when you look at it, it's like, okay, hold up, some of these dudes are working with the police. Some of these black people, they are what I guess people call to be sellouts. The officers thought I was a sellout. I'm not a sellout, just not racist. But Pueblo cops called me a sellout here in Colorado when I went to the hospital, and all of a sudden they want me to do a urine test. I did a urine test, and then the white cop says, you're scoring points for the Sky Sox. I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? The Sky Sox? So I like, damn, they're playing games with me in Colorado. And that was a metaphorical way. Sky Sox, I'm in Colorado. Well, y'all know they have the eye in the sky. They can spy on you. But it's also a game, a baseball team. So I knew then as well, I had confirmation that, these people were playing games with me. Officer called me a sellout because I didn't want to ride with the police officer that was black. I rode with the white security guard lady. And if there was possibility, another person that wasn't Caucasian, that was a security guard, maybe I would have chose them. But I didn't want to ride with police. You're looking at a person that's been locked up too many times on fraudulent cases, that's been victimized and hurt and all kind of things by the police. Additional to this RM, I spent countless days, minutes, and lost a lot of things and a lot of job opportunities behind being incarcerated over this RM game, though. I've got scars on my wrists. My wrists hurt. I've had backwards prayers. Fraudulent cases, and it seems as if people thought I knew from the beginning what was going on, and I'm not. I used to hear certain people say, well, I'm green, and I realize people say that because they have knowledge of what they're in. They know about the R&M, so if you're somebody saying they're green, they know what's going on, willingly. I'm a person that didn't know what was going on willingly. Green means you're new. You're indecisive. You're either or, you're in or you're not, just like the Green Party when it comes to politicians. Okay? And everything you say and do can be manipulated for them to make it seem like that's what's going on. If you can, in my situation, I can have on a certain shirt of a record group, or say a certain song, or title my music as a tag to a certain song, and now all of a sudden they want to make it seem like I'm part of this group, I'm part of that, I'm part of this, I'm part of that. And I'm just me. I'm not part of any group, nothing personally. There's certain labels that I've tried to sign to, but I haven't got any acknowledgement from any of them. Nobody said they wanted to deal with me. I originally signed a deal with Tape Music Group, but I'm not part of anything. And the whole thing about it is, this whole situation has exposed me to learning about certain things that are not just possibly affiliated with groups and certain people that are selling out to these people of music and the movies, but it also shows me how the police, these doctors, the ambulance people, how they all network together. And that's where it gets scary, because you can think you're getting help, and really they're just evaluating how much you can take the technology that they're using on you. And that's where it gets very frightening, very frustrating. I've had high, rapid rates of my heart beating. I've had paranoia. I've told people for many, 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 many years, being followed, and it seemed like there's a few people that just played along with it, acting like they don't know. And I don't know if they know or not. But it's just too many coincidences in my life that made me believe from the beginning that I'm going through something that wasn't natural. This whole schizophrenia stuff wasn't natural. I'm schizophrenic, and I always told people, based upon what's going on that I do not understand, I told them I am schizophrenic because there's something going on in my life I don't understand. And I think it's happened to my aunt. I think this stuff has happened to my mother, and there's no ending to this. This is how they try to solve crimes and stuff like that, but there's a default to their system, because when the same person you're interrogating mentally, there can always be somebody on the other side of the fence, or even in that same room, that's manipulating that person to make you think that's what you've done wrong. You're a bad person, when really you're an angel just like me. And that's why I suffered. In California, this wasn't about something good when I experienced the R&M, because they tried to manipulate my mind frame and manipulate people to think that I'm just some murderous crazy person. I'm not affiliated with none of that shit. I was always raised to be a fighter. People that know me, they know. I was raised to be a fighter. So this situation gets real deep. You know, because police officers and everybody's involved. You can go to a store and a person will wear a certain shirt with a certain logo, or you can go to the hospital and there'll be people in the waiting room, doctors, and just different people to say certain things to you. You know, as I said, was out in Fort Collins, got my hand fixed. They put me in a coma. Woke up a few hours later, my back was hurting, and all of a sudden now I'm hearing this radio station saying, "Bitch slap, DJs, break your back. DJs, you're trying to break your back," and that's how it has attacked me. I've had people do this through media and all that. I've had my regular radio station, and at the time when I got it first put in, you know, it was they closed the garage and hooked up my radio. I don't know what they did. But they can control your mind to make you do weird stuff, go places. And it seemed like the truck that I have to this day, at that time, it felt like my radio station was getting like internet channels, just awkward channels that a regular radio station wouldn't get. And every other channel, you hear a Caucasian person trying to preach or talk about something political. And that's where the game gets deep. You know, I went to jail reacting the wrong way to what this DJ had displayed on a radio station that pissed me off. And the minute I go to jail, you know, I go to a cell where there's a Caucasian person with a white Jesus there. Keep in mind, I had just converted to being Muslim right before I went to jail. And they'll mind fuck you. They'll mind fuck you in jail. They'll mind fuck you on the streets. And everybody just sit around and laugh at you and play along with it. And these are the people that really are the real demons. These are the real devils. There can't be anybody that's part of heaven that will sit back and let a decent human being be ridiculed mentally and tortured mentally. From doctors, lawyers, judges, DAs, police, regular civilians that's in on it, that ain't saying nothing, people acting on you. These are the people that sold their soul for temporary compensation without any intent of trying to go to heaven. Can't buy your way to heaven. You know, and for a person as for my character, I come from a church background. I've always believed in God and Jesus and all the different elements of the historical religious people. I don't look at any religion any better than I look at Jesus or God. I feel there's the same balance somewhere because history itself has been rewritten. You know, I went to the Biblical College, Church of Nazareth in Colorado Springs, and asked questions to a lady that worked for 30 years. And she looked at me in my eyes and said she couldn't give me the answers. You know, you live in a situation in society where religion itself is being tampered and rewritten, and it's being falsely prophesied to the public. And that allowed me to convert. And during that time I converted, I was in a library. And I saw two Caucasian men when I'm talking to this Muslim brother. And during that time as we're communicating, I explained to him I was been getting followed around. People have been saying different stuff to me. And I don't think to this day he even knows what I was going through. But he witnessed that every time I would stop talking, there was a man that was typing on the computer. And behind him, there was another Caucasian person that had his hands like this, the library, just looking at me. And the minute I shook this brother's hands to convert, the guy that was looking at me, he kind of jumped out of his seat. So I think what I'm going through, it is political, and it's not just about them trying to paint an image for me being part of a gang or being part of a hate group. I'm neither one. I have blessings coming to me, obviously, that someone didn't want me to have. I think I've been extorted. I've been framed. I've been detained and arraigned. And I've been mind manipulated through R&M, EEG, HAART, and a whole lot of elements for these people to proceed with the wrongdoings of my life. And there's never going to be a fair compensation for it. I don't care if you give me $1 million, $1 billion. I would never want to go through this willingly. I went through all this stuff unwillingly. You cannot put a price tag on me having to go through all the stuff that I went through. There's nothing here on earth that can make up for what I've been through and how I felt mentally, physically, socially upon this R&M games. You can't put a price tag on it. You know, you can confiscate all the people in the world. You still won't put a price tag on it. These people are not going to be fully happy because they're already going to know they've been mentally raped, physically, and all this stuff behind these games you people play. If you can control somebody's mind frame to do some weird shit, bad stuff, you got everybody else think, oh, he's bad, or she's gay, or he's gay, or this and that. You got to think about R&M. These people will make you do that shit. And then you can go to a regular website and watch regular porn, and they'll try to mind fuck you by putting these things up there to see if you'll react to it. So you can't put a price tag on a person that has been tormented physically, mentally, socially, You have your families look at you like you're some nutball case. Where you've had your friends and females that you just met look at you like you're some nutball case. You can't put a price tag on humiliation. You can't put a price tag on a broken soul. You can't put a price tag on a lost person trying to figure out in life what it is they've done wrong. And in actuality, everything's regimented from these people from the beginning. Any wrongdoings that you have done that they can hold against you, they design it that way. And most of the stuff is misconcepted. So there's no compensation that will make anyone happy in my eyes. I wouldn't care if you bless my whole bloodline and my whole family. I wouldn't want them to go through this. I wouldn't want no one to go through this. Because to this day, even where I'm living at, I got people making noises. When these people first moved over here, you hear certain noises, like it's a squeegee or whoopee cushion. And you know, they do it a few different times. And at that stage, when they was doing it, I was already used to it, so it's like it didn't faze me. But I had that hunch in my mind frame, they fucking with me again. I said, nah, maybe I'm just tripping. But after I started reading and following up recently on the R&M stuff, I realized these people are a product of the same people that have been doing this shit to me. It's all swept under the rug. You can go to a hotel, you can go to an apartment. These people know people who know people that keep everything swept under the rug. And they'll do this to you. And these are the people that are really going to hell, though. I don't care how much they repent, pray. You can't buy your way into heaven, man. For you to sit back and let someone go through something they don't deserve it, you can't put a price tag on it. Even if you come forward and confess that you know what this person is going through, God's going to also ask you, why didn't you stop this from happening to this person? Why did you sit back and let these people do this to them? What are you going to explain when God asks you why you allow people to do this to his child? Eye for eye, tooth for tooth. So I believe personally, if I don't get compensated in the afterlife, it's going to happen to these people. They're going to feel my pain. They're going to be in car accidents that was set up and hurt. Speaking of that, I was in a situation in 2009. Remember I told you I kept saying number 9, mindfucks, number 9. Here's another mindfuck to the whole number 9. There was a car accident where they almost murdered me. Someone was driving so fast they broke the differential and my brand new rims on a 2005 Dodge Magnum. And they claim they're only driving 10 miles an hour making a left-hand turn. How can you dismantle the differential and break an axle on a brand new car making a left-hand turn? It's unheard of. So, there was a situation where a person ran off and he had a bag. And at that time, he said the person that ran off wasn't driving. So the officer said, well, this person said he's driving, so we don't want to hear what you have to say. But everybody knows when there's a car accident and there's a person reported to run off, you're going to go to that address and ask that person why he ran off. The officer didn't do that in my case. So I believe the bag that this person ran off with was actually like a tracking device or something. There was something being tracked to monitor my car, where it would be at, and they hit me, bam. And the officer said, I said, man, why does bad stuff happening, man? Today's my birthday. The Caucasian officer said taxes. So I was being taxed. And that kind of bothered me. So I then later on went to litigation. I was pro per. I beat my case with no lawyer. I was my own lawyer in this case, and I won. I didn't get fair compensation, but I had to go to trial and be my own lawyer. And I beat Farmers Insurance, one of the most high recognizable insurance companies in the world. You're looking at a person that went pro per and beat Farmers Insurance. So take me serious what I'm saying, though. Do not take me as just the average Joe Blow who's just fucking loony, stupid, crazy, making shit up. You know, I've always described myself to be a product of a soul that seasons, meaning I can adapt to different situations. And I can adapt to what's going on. Now that I know the truth, it's like I'm not even confused and angry and hurt. I'm upset. And I want revenge the right way. War is not the answer. Fighting, killing people is not the answer. The answer is for me to expose what's going on to everybody else and get my fair due compensation. You look at a person that his back is hurt, his mind is hurt, his arm is hurt. I've been violated in so many ways from civil rights. It's ridiculous. So I want my peace of mind. I want the life that I've always strived and struggled for. I didn't deserve none of this. Looking at a person that grew up to share his toys. I've shared everything I had with people around me. Most people would have had the same mind frame. A lot of people have stepped on my toes and done me wrong. And I've always turned the other cheek. And I've developed this point where I'm I can't turn the other cheek anymore. I can't just keep being passive. Because if you turn the cheek too many times, one cheek, two cheek, three cheek, you're going to break your neck. And I've went through a 380 degree of turning my cheek in society. And I realized most Christians and Catholics were part of this R&M game put on me. You know, these people are so good. Well, they'll send subliminal messages on your computer from music groups saying, go to church. For instance, Cypress Hill and Ice Cube, go to church. And I'm not saying these people are involved in doing this, but they can make it seem like these people are doing this. They can utilize the whole Cypress Hill, Snoop Dogg, or whoever it was with that video saying go to church. And when you see it, you're like, damn, why is Snoop Dogg, these motherfuckers fucking with me? And that's where it gets tricky. It's like a real deep mind game. And it needs to be exposed. People need to understand that it's not right because they are violating people's civil rights. You know, they are literally using this information the wrong way. You know, you're not supposed to try to tamper with someone's mind frame because you're trying to figure something out, and at the same time you're trying to put negative thoughts to make it seem like what you're figuring out is actually correct with this person. With me, it wasn't. From all the bad things, friends that gone, passed away, associates and things around me, they ain't got nothing to fucking do with me. But they wanted me to believe that. They wanted someone else to believe that. There was a situation right before I tried to do my first suicide attempt. I'm at a hospital. I'm at a hotel, and I noticed everywhere I go. At the time, I didn't even have a car, so me and the female I was with, we was walking. I can notice, I can feel attention. Like someone's telling me, you gotta watch that car. You gotta watch this car. You see this person here. This person is hopping out this car. Is coming upstairs. You gotta watch them. And that's what it does to you when there's more than one person using R&M on you. I think it was more than one person using R&M on me, you know? It's like I had a good and a bad. Like the devil was fucking with me, and I had like the good people messing with me, trying to fight the devil off. And there's always been a metaphor saying that, you know, everybody has an angel and a devil on their shoulder, and that's a metaphorical term, just like in the movie Freddy Krueger and in the video with Eminem, these voices, guilty conscience. Certain people have deliberately expose these situations without even really possibly knowing the real truth behind their songs and these movies. But somebody knows it, and that's how it works. It's like you giving me a plate full of food, telling me when I get this plate full of food, go over here and eat it in front of this man, and I never knew this man never had nothing to eat, but you knew it was going to affect this man by him seeing me eat food. Now he's looking at me like, damn, I'm hungry. And that's the mind fucks they do to you. And it's very complicated because I've seen adults and kids involved in these R&M games on me. I would see people walking around me and little kids that say certain shit. It's like, he's scary, or he's this, that. Get away from that man, this and that. And I looked it up on the internet, and a female went through this. She explained it briefly, how she was in a grocery store, and you got people that are trying to hurry up and ram their carts next to you, or run from you, make it seem like, you know, they're trying to get a reaction from you to be paranoid. And there's no price you can put on what I went through. And it's just hard for me to let go and forgive. It's hard. You can forgive a person so many times in society, but if they continue to do something to you, it's like, how can I forgive you? How many years have you people done this to me? Several, so I can't forgive you. I can forgive you for the first, second, third day. Fourth, fifth day. But this didn't go on for days. You guys literally misconcepted my thoughts to make people believe that I'm just something demonic and frustrating and evil, when obviously there was a certain side of society that wanted to bless me with a blessing. I felt my blessings were taken away because of this R&M situations. I would have been a whole lot further in society if someone didn't step in and ready to take my life to begin playing these R&M games on me. And only you people know who you are. And was all said and done, the only redemption I can get from it, we all have to pass one day. And I'm pretty sure God, Allah, Pele Pele, Virgin Mary, the sun god, the moon god, Greek god, all these people are really relevant in my mind frame. So they're going to do these things to you. And how would it feel for you to have to be kicked out of heaven, come back on earth, and you're not getting kicked back on earth because God wants you to send a message to people that you belong to Him. He wants to send you a message now that you should be messing with people that belong to Him. We all get deja vus and stuff like that, and that's another reason why they probably use R&M to try to tap into your dreams and your thoughts to see what part of the afterlife world you come from. There's so many ways this R&M stuff can work. They can steal the ideas, they can steal your songs, they can steal, your plans, your goals, and it's happening to everybody. Even the president's going through R&M, and even the president is aware of R&M, and he knows it's being done. Everybody's a victim of it to an extent. But not everybody goes through R&M on the levels that I've went through. I went through R&M levels as a game played negatively on me. They wanted me to kill myself. They wanted me to react and do tremendous bad things. Okay? This shooting that happened in Colorado Springs where this guy shot these people at the movie theater, that was through R&M. I bet you. This person wasn't just delusional in his mind frame and decided he wanted to go shoot a gang of people. Because when I was in California, it felt like people referred to me as being Batman, right? And I would watch the Batman movie. It was another rerun where I felt like, damn, there's somebody in my life trying to play Joker that has a lot of money and they're doing evil things. And I've seen that same messages in songs. And when I realized that the stuff happened out here, I've always had indecisive thought upon what really happened. And now I really know. This person that done that was controlled through R&M. And R&M is a situation where certain brains that are real strong, people that can really be good at fighting off what these people are doing to you, it won't have that effect where you can just react every time you think of something negative. But they can crank up the volume of it and kill you. At any minute, if they wanted to just beam this stuff all the way, I can fall out right now, I can die, my heart can just pop, explode right now. It's a very complicated device that they have going on, which is called R&M. And it's not just R&M, it's HAARP and EEG. You have to Google different websites, remote neural monitoring. Even the ACLU is aware of this stuff. And certain people have been compensated for being victims of this. And in my case, if they want to, they can cover up every time I went to the hospitals and made my statement that someone has misconcepted my thoughts. If they wanted to, they can do that. If they're good enough at locking me up on BS cases and I'm in jail to get these subliminal messages, these mind fucks, and when I get out I react in a negative way and be all paranoid, then yeah, if they wanted to, they can cover it up. They can go right back to all these hospitals and make it seem like it was another reason why I was there. They can hide all my original statements if they wanted to. But I know what's going on. Now I'm fully aware of what's going on. And my only thing I want to say to you people is, do you really think you're going to heaven doing the hell you're doing to people? And most of these people, they're demonic. They don't even believe in hell. They don't even believe in heaven. They're fine going to hell. And just know, Satan's going to do the same thing that you've done to these people. No matter where you go. Karma is real. Karma's been the main thesis of my life. I believe in that. You get judged by your intentions and your deeds in this world. And God knows your true feelings. He knows your true deeds. He knows your true actions. But unfortunately, we live in a world where you have people trying to portray God, portray to be the devil. And these people are controlling R&M. And they're misconcepting every single thing you do that's positive. Everything you do positive is going to be turned into some type of showboat, some type of game, some type of way of trying to show them in their eyes, oh, you're a good person. Well, really, you've been that way since the beginning. They'll take every good thing you've done and twist it around and make it seem like he's doing this for this reason. He's not doing it for the real reason for what he's doing. And it gets frustrating. It gets real frustrating. I was in Vegas a while back, and there was a time where I would take a shower, and the water was at perfect temperature. And through R&M, sometimes they have sensations of wanting, jack off a lot. It sounds funny, but they can make you get in sexual modes. And there was times where I wasn't even thinking about jacking off. But I notice when I'm in Vegas, every time I watch the lower part of my body, the water get real hot. At Circus, the water used to get real hot. All of a sudden, it's normal temperature, and then when I'm getting ready to wash my lower parts of my body, the water get real hot. Like, the fuck, man? So they can watch you through rooms and monitor watering systems and have, it's so crazy. It's so precisely crazy It's really like a movie, and it's not fiction. The same place in Circus, I had I heard a voice where there was a woman yelling at her daughter, and her daughter kept screaming, just so I couldn't get any sleep. You got so many people involved in this, it's ridiculous. Okay? I realized when I was at Circus as well, where I was walking, and all of a sudden there's a crowd of people coming the opposite direction, and as soon as I walk to a certain point of getting closer to a certain person, that person will walk around and act as if he's just part of the crowd going the opposite direction with me. You know, I've had people that I thought were friends trying to put guns in my seat, that obviously was working with the police, was part of this R&M entrapment situation with other people that was regimented to get me in effed up situations. I've been at Greyhound stations where I've had a federal agent who exposed himself years later, but our first introduction was he was trying to buy guns from me. He's like, got any guns? I went off on this motherfucker. What the fuck you know I got guns? And he's like, lighter guns? And he's like, no snitching. And, I never said anything, but I did let certain people know, hey, there is a federal agent around this motherfucker. I never pointed him out. But that let me know that the Fed's been involved in my life. These Feds and all these people are involved. He's my confirmation that I know that the Feds is involved in what I'm going through. Caucasian chubby dude. I used to walk around with a motherfucking suitcase. And he got to know me throughout the years. And, he saw me in a situation where I was doing real bad. He gave me a few dollars, invited me to go places. I never went with him. But he had a change of heart upon his first impression upon me. But what I'm going through is not a gimmick. It's a cry out for help. I want to be rehabilitated. Physically, mentally, socially. Emotionally. It takes a lot. This stuff is so complicated. Like, for instance, I was recently at Aspen Point, Colorado Springs, and I normally pick up my medication for Seroquel at one window. And this is how precise and good these people are at doing this to you. Remember I told you can go in certain places and you hear certain things. They want you to hear these things. Or people say certain stuff just to get a reaction from you at that moment or at a later time and date. Well, I normally pick up my medication from one side of the window. For some reason, they told me to pick it up on another side of the window. And one of the therapists happens to walk out another door talking to another patient who was older, but she said things loud enough for me to hear. And this is what they do to you. And her exact word was, well, you'll be okay. It just takes years for people to get over things like this. And it seems as if, she was really talking to this person. She was using that person as a pawn. That person wasn't in on her acting on me. They use other people and play other people to send subliminal messages to you. No one different how I explain if somebody gave me some food and I walk to this person, I'm eating my food in front of him, and that person that gave me the food knew damn well this person was already going to be hungry with a conscience of, damn, I got food in my mind. And that's how they try to do me here recently when I picked up my last prescription of Seroquel. The lady told the older lady, the therapist told the other lady, well, you should be okay. Things like this takes years to get over it. Some people never get over it. And that's what they do. They send subliminal messages so you can hear and feel confident about what you're going through, but it also gives you acknowledgement that they know what you're going through. So they're telling on themselves, playing with me. I'm getting all this information by everybody that said these certain things. Just like when I was on Jackson Street at a hospital out here, and one of my associates' friends died. Someone stole his watch. He done all kind of bad stuff, supposedly. I wasn't around. I don't know exactly what he was doing. We had an argument where I split up and went my own way doing things in society. And, months later he gets killed, etc. I paid my respects. I went off on people, trying to fight people. Thought I was involved and all this stuff. I had to leave it alone. Let God deal with the situation and moved on. Moved to a point of the stage of my life where I was just, I was doing me. I was never that person in that environment, I just never really tripped off of gang banging or doing dumb shit to people. It just wasn't in my nature. So, it was more of like a hustler, you know what I'm saying, and a player. So anyway, I moved on from that. And years later, I had reunited with some associates that used to be around him. And I noticed something that was awkward where this person just now got out of jail, but he had a watch similar, if not exact, like the one that my friend had that was missing. And, me and these people, we already had conflict before, because when I first met the person that died and the person that was his right-hand man, he was my homie, I caught these persons still into my drawers. The first time I ever came to my house, I left my room, came back Fuck, still in my drawers. That's why it dawned on me. I was asleep about that this whole time. How you motherfuckers just backstabbing you? And they backstab me in so many ways. And to this day, I've been passive. I've never retaliated. I just moved on to it. It's like, I fucking, you know, get used to motherfuckers hating on you doing dumb shit. You know, I ain't the first person to try to steal from me, none of that stuff, you know. But I never had that mind frame, well, I'm going to steal from you back. You know, I ain't going to steal from behind your back. If I'm going to steal from you, I'm going to steal from you in front of your face. It's kind of the person I am. If I'm dealing with you and you're doing shit to me. So I let these people just do their own thing. And, you know, around this time I had a boat and everything else. And, you know, I got rid of the boat because, you know, it fell and everything else. But long story short, you know, this person who was his friend, or supposedly his play cousin, you know, he has a watch just like him. And I'm in the back seat. I had these people take me to a storage unit where I had my boat and truck. And, you know, his name's Daniel. He had braids, and he had the watch, and he kept playing with his braids behind his head. And I'm looking at the watch, and I'm thinking, hey, what the fuck? And in my own consciousness, I was thinking, Lonnie watch came in, did they got Lonnie watch? Well, we all had those watches. I even had that same kind of watch in one of my pictures when I was younger, doing music and stuff from Camp Miller. So, you know, I was kind of the first person to have those kind of watches, but I lost interest in those watches a long time ago, which is quite funny when he thought that I had something to do with stealing the watch. I don't even like Movados like that. You know what I mean? They kind of got played out. But this person had a Movado watch on, just like he did. He was playing with his braids. And it felt like someone instructed him to do that. Just so when I left, I came back to Colorado, and I started tripping mentally. The white doctor on Jackson Street was going back and forth with the black doctors. You got the watch? You got the watch? Oh, yeah, we know we got the watch now. And I'm like, why are these people trying to trap me and set me up? And I went off on him. I'm like, motherfucker, I ain't got nothing to do with that. None of this shit. I ain't got nothing to do with this man whose watch getting taken. And he looked like a white Jesus, the dude. I've seen him before. It's not the first time I went to the hospital where he didn't look like Jesus, but this time he had a lot of gold hair on him. Like, man, you like white Jesus. Long story short, he says to me, after I confront him, he's like, it's okay, man. God's going to give everything you want. And I got real mad. Like, how can you put God, what the hell you doing to me? I ain't got nothing to do with this person being coming up, miss none of that. You know, to this day, people don't probably even believe me, you know, but I don't care, you know. I know the truth. I didn't do nothing wrong. You know, I'm somewhere in motherfucking Newport Beach in a motherfucking car at the Doubletree Hotel or something like that. You know, because it was his female from Idaho. Cadillac with Idaho plates. They wanted their private time. I had to sleep in the fucking trunk. I'm not in the trunk, but in the back seat. And I woke up to go take a piss. And the only way I can prove it, if the people want to admit the facts that was with me, or they get to track my phone signal, I don't know. They probably was tracking me through R&M then, and they knew I had nothing to do with it. But for them to try to manipulate other people to thinking by me being paranoid, trying to figure out what really happened to these people so I won't get caught up in the same way they got caught up with being murdered and none of this stuff, they try to brainwash people. They try to use R&M to frame me for murders. They try to use R&M to frame me for crimes. And when it gets to that point, there's no amount of finance that you can do that to a person. I cried many times in my life. None of my tears were fake. And it bothers me though. You know, I really felt like certain people were instructed to have me in certain places at certain times, and they don't know that the people that's telling them to take me here or go here are people who are behind the whole R&M situation games. Like, they try to use me to be a downfall in everything bad that happened. So the people I've been around with, it's like I can't even be mad at them unless they knew exactly what was going on. And in most cases, it's not like that. In most cases, the people I've been around, they're just like me. They're just like the person who's giving them food, not telling them why they're giving them food, so they can get a reaction from somebody else. And that's what I went through. I've experienced R&M in a fraudulent way. It wasn't used on me in any way other than people trying to manipulate other people to believe that the unnatural thoughts that I was having was natural thoughts. And it was nothing but bad thoughts in California. There was a lot of bad thoughts here in Colorado Springs. And from the Pueblo Police Department to the Colorado Springs Department to the Colorado Springs Mental Hospitals to the Los Angeles Police Department, Pasadena Police Department, they're all involved in this stuff. Vegas, there's people in Vegas that was involved in this stuff. How can you control hot water when a person's taking a shower, make it hotter? I don't know. But I've looked it up, and they can monitor your neutron signals in your brain and all that, so they can get on computers and tap into the watering system. A lot of wiring systems and stuff is done electronically and manually. You know, or they could have had someone sitting there in a different area to make that water hotter. But if they experience pain and torture on that level, if you think taking a regular shower is cool, that all of a sudden the water gets hot where your back is scorching and you got to jump out the shower for a little bit, that's devilish stuff, man. That's real evil to do that to somebody. The person's in the shower and all of a sudden the water's getting extra hot. They've done these things to me. And the reason why I'm speaking upon this because I feel that I know I'm a credible person to the people that know me. You know, there's people that know me when I speak the truth. You know, I'm innocent of all these murders. They're trying to frame me. I'm innocent of all this bullshit crimes and false allegations. And I think the people that were doing this to me, there was a side of people that knew what was going on, and there's a side of people that didn't know what was going on, and then there's a side of people that was doing this to me that were being monitored, not just by the people that didn't know what was going on, but they were being monitored by the people that knew what was going on. So it felt like, for instance, all these stuff that was happening to me through R&M, there's a certain side of people that knew that this game was going on. And I feel it's going to cause a lot of tension, you know, if things doesn't get fixed the right way. You know, I can feel the tension within myself. I can see it, you know, in different places, man. And this is what people have to reap when you play games with good people. Don't get upset when you're seeing certain people being held accountable for things they didn't do just because your type of people have done these things to these type of people. And that's the way this stuff is going to end up going, it seems like. There may never be any compensation given to me and anybody. And unfortunately, there's other people that's going to play the same game of not caring about society and people affiliated with you. And I don't want that to happen. I don't want war. I don't want none of this stuff. You know, I want to live the life that I'm supposed to have. I want to be compensated for my pain and suffering. I want to be compensated for my violations being, my civil rights being violated. I want to be compensated for all these fucked up cases that have been put on me, all the times that I've sat in jail, and all this stuff based upon you regimentating people around me and regimentating situations for me to be in that situation unwillingly. I never signed up for R&M or HART or EG or none of this stuff. You know, 4 or 5 years later, I just found out that there's been people that have exposed this a long time ago. I wasn't educated enough to even think to look it up. You know, I've called the FBI, I've told my probation about some of these things, and, you know, even the FBI, they tend to not care, because I already know that, like I told you, the FBI, I know they're in this, CIA, they're involved. ATF's involved in this stuff. Try to buy guns from me, I don't even sell guns. Years ago in California. So, you know, I'm aware that you guys probably try to use this stuff so I can be manipulated to think I've done something wrong when I haven't. There's no amount of compensation that you can ever rub in my face to make me forget about how you ruined my dreams, how you ruined my goals, how you ruined my family, my relationships, my friendships. You can't put a price on that, man. So me speaking out, it's not even just about money. It's more to it than money, because money's not going to stop my pain. Money's not going to fix my back. Money's not going to fix my arm. Money's not going to stop my migraines. It's bigger to it than just money and compensation. Apology can make things a whole lot better. But these people are too cowards to even come forward and apologize. But one thing they do not know about this R&M situation is, just like a phone can be monitored and they know who's using your phone, the same people that's been doing R&M on me, believe me, they can monitor and track down you people that's been doing this. So the same thing that make you laugh will make you cry. I know deeply inside my heart, the same people playing with me, somebody's watching you play with me the whole time. So now it's checkmate. We're playing chess, I feel. And I was a pawn in a game that I did not know about. And guess what? Just guess. Not a queen, not a king. Not even on the board. So what I mean by me not being on the board in the chess game that's going on? What does he mean by that? Well, he's not a king, he's not a queen. He was a pawn, but now he's not on the board. And you're going to think, oh, this motherfucker really is crazy because I said that. But just think about that for a second. You use me as a pawn And I went from not being a pawn to not even being on the chessboard. So I'm creating a new game, which is designed to expose you people for doing this to people. The cup can be halfway full or halfway empty in society. And people that's looking at this, you may look at me halfway empty. And there's people that know I'm halfway full. Of everything that I have described to you, how do you think I found knowledge to get to all this stuff? R&M can be used in so many different ways. Who's to say R&M wasn't used for me to figure out what's really going on with me? I don't know. Maybe there's some people that are good in this environment of R&M that tapped into what it is you guys are doing to me that made you guys stop this. And they use R&M for me to wake up so I can figure it out all of myself. So they can prove that nobody has told me anything. I found out on my own. And that's where it gets deep. I can be right, I can be wrong. Even when I'm wrong, I can be right. But I know I'm right. There's no compensation, people, that you can put on a person's life to the point where they want to kill themselves or feel culprit of things going on around them that they can't control, they've been confused about. If a person has remorse in their heart and their mind from what happened to other people around them, they're trying to figure things out so they won't be in those same situations, they can utilize that to say, okay, well, he's part of what happened, or he's snitching, or he's this, or he's that. When in reality, you try to evaluate and find the truth so you won't go out like the rest of the people. And in my surroundings, it's just crazy, man. I'm here for a reason. I'm here for a real reason, though. Everybody knows me, man. I'm a fighter. I got scars. And I'm going to fight this situation until it's exposed the right way. Because this thing has created lots of problems. Not just between me. It's a worldwide thing, though. Ask yourself, why are certain countries and certain religions going to war? Why are certain people kicking certain people out of certain countries from different religions? Because the majority of the people that are being guinea pigs to this R&M stuff willingly opposite from the religions of the people that's kicking them out of these places. And these people from different religions are aware of what goes on. And additional to that, you have certain people that do the cat effect. And the cat effect is no indifference in how America spied on Russia. They had real pet cats. They put to sleep, and they went in their ear canals and turned them into walking and recording devices. So when Russia was spied upon, they would look at these cats, and they would just think they're pets. All along, these cats had devices that were recording everything these people say. And they do that to human beings. That's why some people also hear these voices in their ear canal. You could have been medicated at any point in time. It doesn't take surgery. They can put the smallest little device deep in your eardrum that's magnetic. You won't even feel it. It can go real deep into your body. And then when you're medicated, they can use a magnetic force to take it out without you feeling any pain. And then there's some people, they have scars right behind their ear. And some of those people I've seen in mental hospitals out here, you know, with that scar right behind their ear. Those are real people that have signed up to put devices in their ear. And that's why certain people don't trust certain people, and certain people must understand that the things that I'm saying is very realistic. If you don't believe me, you can Google America spying on Russia using cats. Okay? They do this. They put this in dogs, they put it in humans, cats, you know, everywhere. They do this to kids, man. They fuck with kids mentally from the beginning of it. A lot of these little kids that you see that are mentally going through things, and their families thinking, oh, it's just genetic. It's not. It may not just be genetic. It could be that these people are really just attacking your family, and they're causing this. R&M can cause a pregnant woman to develop a dysfunctional child. R&M can cause a pregnant woman to produce prematurely, and her kid lives with disabilities. Okay, this situation needs to be resolved, and unfortunately, it's never going to stop. But I think personally, they need to focus more on the real reason what it should be used for. R&M was a technology that is similar to these people using microwaves and radiation. When a plane is flying, there's a bomb coming. I think the military knows that there's things they can use to have electronic signals miss that airplane. The same way you can misguide a missile from hitting a plane by using electricity and radiation and these things that they have that's familiar with R&M. That's the same way you can manipulate a person to get up, stand, say bad things, think bad thoughts, hit another person, kill another person, rob something. They're doing this to all kind of people. There's certain people that have done things, and they tell people, I don't know what I was thinking at that time. I don't even know what I was thinking. Just lost my mind. Even my situation, when I got into it with this DJ, I really didn't have any sense of feeling when I drove off the curb, and I felt deep in my heart I really didn't try to run him over. But my actions doesn't prove my verbal, because most people like myself didn't know that the R&M existed. I reacted from a game that was being played on me based upon R&M, from what he had said on the radio station, and I acted out within a matter of wanting to conversate. Then I wanted to fight, but I was man enough not to swing on this person because he didn't want to put his hands up. So I don't even understand why he came to the conclusion of trying to drive off the curb to scare him, though. It was a split situation thing. And R&M can do that to you. R&M will do that to you. They can control you to make an instant situation occur without you thinking. It's like hypnosis, however you want to pronounce it, where you can do certain things out of nowhere, out of spite. They're doing this to superstars, athletes, politicians. They're doing this to regular people. They're doing this to people in jail. They're doing this to people in hospitals. During the times I was going through this in California in hospitals, I've seen a few different people, and I felt they were going through the same thing. And California is a big thing. They're targeting a lot of blacks. And you can be a person that grew up on the streets where you're respected by everybody, gangs and non-affiliates. As far as myself, I'm considered really a non-affiliate. And I can go anywhere, Crip Hood, Blood Hood, anything. But they can target me just because they want to see, well, why can't he just go here? What is he part of? Is he a ringleader or something in a gang? Or is he part of this gang? And that, to me, it's not even the case. Most places that I go to, I used to work either at a car wash, or I used to sell CDs and incense, or knew people from high school. And I never broke my communication with people that I got along with in society. Most people that I've ever met, majority of these people I'm still cool with, despite the ones that have hit me in the head with crowbars, put guns to my head and my mouth, and jump me, and try to make it seem like I'm from their gang when I'm in jail on false cases. I don't socialize with these people. Real people know me, and there was even other people around me that noticed a change in my demeanor, my appearance. You okay? And I couldn't really explain to them because I couldn't even explain what was going on. But I know since the first day I've complained about my thoughts being misconcepted, someone was fascinated upon that. They're like, how the fuck did this guy know someone's manipulating this thought? So I think that's what caused them to continue to play the R&M games on me. Most people can't acknowledge their true reactions based upon things that are going on. And what these people do, they create puffery, P-U-F-F-R-Y, situations in your mind frame where everything is uncertain. It's not fact. It's not real. And that's where it's messed up. You can have great intentions, and you can also have negative intentions based upon R&M. And then when you dig into your real self, it's hard to decipher because they've used R&M on you. Well, which part of this was R&M, which part of this wasn't R&M? And the only way you can evaluate it is what negative has happened to these people since R&M has started. 99.9 of the negative things that a person has been through that's been exposed to R&M is because of the R&M. It's not because that's what they naturally were. And that's where it's messed up. And with R&M, I've battled negative thoughts to overcome things I didn't understand that was going on, to produce positive thoughts. I've always been a person that was fascinated with music, inventions, writing TV shows, films and stuff. And it's just been a coincidence that through these games that have been played on me, that they have rewritten music, rewritten my autobiographies, they have mocked my inventions, they have done so many things in my life to kind of like slap me in the face and make it even harder for me to overcome the mind games. And that's what they do to you. They make you hate yourself. They make you hate life sometimes. They make you not want to live. They make you want to run and hide. They make you want to cry. You know, and in most cases, certain people will even use this to manipulate you to be part of something that you're not aware of, or make it seem like you're part of this or you're part of that. And through my experiences, my messages that was sent to me indirectly but directly through media and stuff like that, it was like they're trying to brainwash me to believe that I'm a culprit of something negative, go to church, and all kind of other stuff. And I think in my situation, the white Christians and the Hispanic Catholics, and the white Catholics and the Hispanic Christians are involved in what I'm going through. And the black Christians probably had knowledge or no knowledge of what I'm going through, but they sat back and observed that. And other religions probably knew as well what was going on, that just sat back to evaluate how long they was going to play with me. And now the truth has been exposed. It's not me that's going to have to suffer. They can take my life. I don't even care. I know I'm going to heaven. I ain't done nothing wrong. Okay? So it's not about me trying to be bold and letting you people know, I don't care about dying. Because really, I can't wait to see my mama. I can't wait to see my father. And I know it's not my time, but even if it is my time, it doesn't even matter what you do to me on earth. Because there's nothing that you cannot do to me that you already have done to me. I didn't experience everything. So what can you tell a person that has experienced all unnecessary bad things in this world? There's nothing you can tell me. I've experienced it through R&M and realized now, I'm telling you people, I know what's going on. I know what's going on now. I really know what's going on now. You know, I've already had an insight, and one thing that, I'm blessed upon is I'm a special human being. When I say special, I don't mean the elements of mentally special or none of that stuff. I'm special means I'm gifted. I have a gift within me. I produce a certain energy and feeling around people, where I've always had this thing about me where I can make the darkest night the brightest day. And I think people have been fascinated from the beginning of these R&M games that they played on me, just for the simple fact that I've always assumed this was being done by someone or an entity or a group. So I was a guinea pig just to see how much of this stuff would work. And it's all designed possibly just for me to speak now. A lot of people that are getting up and speaking upon this, we're actually doing these people a favor. Yes, we're exposing what they're doing, but they're getting confirmation that what they have done, this is what's going on. So it's a catch-22 situation, because the same situations that we're trying to expose to get help so we can rehabilitate our lives and our families and possibly get the compensation that we actually deserve, these same people are going to find out other ways to try to make it unknowledgeable. That's the default in it. It's so messed up that people know that it exists, and they're going to continue to tamper with R&M to a point where it can't be detected from another person to another person. And when I say that, where they want it to be unknown, they don't want you to know what's going on with you. They want to continue to do this to people that has no clue of what's going on. They want to continue to do this to people where other people don't know that they're doing this to you. I think I feel it, that I'm blessed because the whole time that these people started doing this to me, God's been watching. Allah's been watching. Peli's been watching. Virgin Mary's been watching. The Greek God's been watching. The Jews have been watching. Buddha's been watching. And that's where they fucked up with me. You picked the wrong person to play these games with. It's the way I feel. Because it's not just about religion anymore. I don't care about people upstairs, whoever saying I talk too much. Fuck you. Say that shit to my face. Because when I'm speaking upon God, I'm talking about the real fucking God. The real Buddha. The real Virgin Mary. Not this R&M shit y'all playing. Checkmate. It's quiet as a motherfucker, man. It's quiet as a motherfucker. I'm not worried about them killing me. They've already tried it. I felt dead. Alive. The whole dead man walking shit. That's about me. They wanted to make me feel like I'm the dead man walking. So if anybody has comments on what I'm saying, that's watching, or people ear hustling from this apartment that I'm in, upstairs, downstairs, around the stairs, next room, fuck y'all. Shoe fit, wear it, motherfuckers. Me being me has allowed me to expose the people that's been involved at the whole time you're trying to be friendly and passionate to. Just chest. I'm not on the board. Remember that. I didn't actually play this shit. The thing that I'm saying is very precise and complicated for the average person to understand. One person will sit back and play you like, hey, we're friends, we're buddies, we're neighbors, we're associates and all that, and they know what's going on. These are the people you don't want to be around in the afterlife. These are going to be the same people that's going to watch you have all the blessings you can obtain. And God's going to have them picking wool, cotton, and they can't celebrate with their family for a certain amount of days. There's a jail in heaven. There's a hell in heaven. If you want to see what hell is like, go to a volcano, eternal fire. Everybody has certain ways of looking at life. Everybody has certain ways of thinking about certain situations. And in my situation, I have manipulated so many people to speak, to give me knowledge that something was going on around me, that they are part of this, before I even knew that R&M existed. My natural instincts, my natural reactions of saying things to get a reaction. Remember, every action, there's a reaction. For every action, there is a reaction. And through my reactions, I've observed other reactions that have gave me clarity that the reactions that caused other reactions were all part of this unknown entity and environment that was doing this to me. So when it's all said and done, they may never stop. They may never compensate me or my family. They may never give me the life that I truly deserve. Beginning of my music career, I said nothing but good songs, speaking upon God, Allah, Jesus, and anything else. And I'm still that same person today. Yeah, I got a quick temper. Yeah, I'll get frustrated. Yeah, I will fight you and try to kick your ass, even if you're bigger than me. That's how I was raised. One raised to just pick up a gun and kill you. But they wanted people to think that. They try to set me up in all kind of ways, with drugs, guns, false cases, just so they can fill this quote of correction upon the bad things they're doing to me. They need an excuse to justify what they've done to me, which is why they try to manipulate me to feel, well, give in to being a Crip by having a Crip people try to peer pressure me to claim that. And now that I feel like I realize these Crip people are working with white people, it's part of the system and all this stuff. I feel like, oh, I want to go to hang with the Bloods because it seems like the Bloods, they're not sellouts. But really, I want to be part of that. I want to do me. I want to be music. I want to be able to conjugate with Bloods and Crips that have been good to me. But I do favor the Bloods more than I favor the Crips now. But it's not even about gangbanging with me. It's not even about a red or a blue. Because I realized you got your own people that are black, that are involved in situations on the streets and gangs and stuff that you're not affiliated with, but they will be right there in jail when the police, these Hispanic and white cops, give you a fraudulent case, trying to get you to claim a gang. And that's what they want to do. They want to manipulate you so many ways, so no matter what side you choose, if it's red, blue, green, there's going to be something in those environments negative that they're going to make you be a part of. In my situation, that's what's going on. If I don't hang around with the Caribs and hang around with this and that, then they can't put me in this negative situation. If I don't hang around with these Bloods or hang around with these people, then they can't put me in a negative situation, whatever's going on with these people. If I don't hang around with these people over here, they can't do that. And I've been with myself this whole time. And I've always looked at it like, man, you know, I've been fascinated about certain people in certain environments. And it wasn't because these people were gangbangers. I admire gangsters, not gangbangers. A gangster, he gonna get up on his own, fight things out, and be a man. And gangsters classified in so many ways. A woman who's raising a child by herself, that's gangster. You know, a man that's taking care of his child, that's gangster. Person that's getting up every day and go to motherfucking work, paying their bills, hustling, whatever, that's gangster. Gangster's a metaphorical word, just like a whole lot of other things. It's all how you perceive it. Is that cup halfway full or is it halfway empty? In my situation, I have full knowledge from the beginning something was going on. I just felt it, man. And it made me want to cry when I Googled this stuff. And I started looking up what R&M was and HAART and all these other elements. You ask yourself why. How can you people sit back and let me get mentally combobulated through your program? How can you watch me nearly kill myself? How can you live with yourself doing that? How can you sleep at night? How can you live with yourself? How can you look at your kids in their face and hope for a better future for you and them by doing this to people? How can you look at your wives and your family members with good intentions, hoping that the best in life is going to happen to them, when you're making the worst happen to people that don't deserve it? How can you live with yourself doing that? How can you? Without bypassing the fact that there is a code of life called karma. And you get it here in the physical world and in the afterworld. How can you live with yourselves? Letting people go through this. You sit back, laugh, chuckle, and make comments when a person speaks upon certain things that you don't like. Who gives you the right to speak on what I'm going through? How can you try to speak on what I'm going through if you're not helping me go through what I'm going through? How can you live with yourself doing that? How can you live with yourself doing that, man? Whatever these people have paid you people to add on to the problems, the struggle, even you people to add on to the resolution. How can you live with yourselves? I'm talking to everybody that's part of this chess game, from the pawns to the kings to the queens to the roots. I'm talking to everybody that's in this chessboard game that we call life in R&M. How can you people live with yourselves? How? How can you go to church every day, praying to your religion, thinking you're going to go there one day, when the afterlife, people know what you're doing to people? How can you really think that? Do you really think you're going to heaven because you got money and power? Do you really think that you're going to be satisfied when you go to hell? That you can do hellish things and feel no pain? Same people that created heaven and earth, gods, Satan and all that. It's like a light switch. The good can turn the bad back to good. The bad can turn the bad back to bad, right? There's always going to be one person controlling all that. There's no way you can just think to yourself because you represent negativity that when you die you're going to hang around negativity and feel no pain. You're gonna do a lifetime of suffering though. Believe that. All these people's lives that you have messed up, all these people being fraudulently incarcerated, possibly murdered and set up, jumped, beat, killed, robbed, raped. How can you live with yourself doing this to people? How can you say to yourself you're going to heaven? And I'm talking to politicians, police, I'm talking to lawyers, doctors, judges, CIA, FBI, ATF. I'm talking about regular civilians, good people, bad people, all you people that are in this fraudulent game called R&M. How can you live with yourself? How can you really look at your families and say you hope one day you can experience eternal existence, eternal life in heaven with them? How are you going to feel when the higher powers of the spiritual world takes you away from that? You sacrifice that when you start playing with these people. And from deep down, this is what the spiritual world is telling me to let these people know, though. You don't have to compensate us. You don't have to acknowledge it. Just be prepared what's coming to you, people. The afterlife here on earth. I don't care how many times you go to church and try to pray and forgive what you've done. You have to do what you've done to others, right? You have to go through what you've done to others. The spiritual world knows your true intentions. So you truthfully intended to play people like this. So don't expect to see a great outcome from this. Even if you compensated these people, you can't buy the way to heaven. And you can probably lighten the burden, but that's not going to fix anything. There's people that are dead. There's people that got life in prison. Can't talk, can't walk, can't see. Behind these R&M games. You can't compensate people that's been through death. You can't compensate people that had to live an actual nightmare. There's no compensation for that. Some people don't understand. You have people like me that everything's not based upon money. I've given money away when I didn't have enough to give. I left myself broke. Money is not the motive here that I'm speaking upon. Because if I could have it my way, I'd rather play the karma code. Eternally. Eternally. I want to sit back with all the spiritual people that's good in heaven and laugh with them as they play you like you've played me and many others. Then your families have to look at us, having to accept the fact that they are blessed because they had no part of certain things that kept them from being in heaven. But they're going to hurt a little bit, just like you got to hurt. So you get to see the pain in your family. Pain in you. And after so many years, yeah, he's going to give you a second chance. God and all these spiritual people, they ain't going to give up on you like that. But they're going to break you down to the point where you should understand you don't do certain people certain ways. Same person that has something to do with creating heaven, same person that has something to do with creating hell. It's a recycle mode. The good, then you got the bad. And as the good and the bad goes in circles, the bad gets weaved out until they're ready to do good. And some people get put here on earth just to recite those messages and implant in your brain from what they represent. Everybody know me from the beginning of time. I'm not a person that represents evil. make it frustrated at times and this and that, but I know I'm heaven sent. And for you to deflect and try to make it seem as if you know where I'm going in the afterlife, your R&M is not that good. Certain things you can't stop a person from becoming. You can do it to a lot of people. The majority of people you can't. And that's based upon when these people are deceased and they have the opportunity to get that break and excitement and that feeling and need to not ever want to be thirsty or hungry. They won't feel any grief or pain. That's what we're out here put on earth for, man. To one day sit, wine, and dine. Without the nourishment of needing it, without the needing of wanting to do that. So you can manipulate people, mess up people's lives, you can distort the truth, but you can't hide from the things that's going to happen here on earth and after. We can't run from that. And I'm just encouraging the people that's involved in this R&M stuff that you would do the right thing. And you may not even care. If I always had a peaceful mind frame, wars can be won without death, without pain. But you people prefer it that way. So don't get mad at society and yourself and your families when you realize the things that you have done has created a negative result within your life. Because I'm sure one day you're going to wake up with the same conscience that you have put on these people to play games with. And that's when it begins. When these people start doing this stuff to you, when you get ready to take your own lives, because it's at the point where it's going to be out of control. There's so many people that's doing this stuff. All the things you guys have done to me still has not took me from the point where I've given up on my eternal life. I think you're mad about that. I'm glad you're mad about that. From the cross on my arm to the Jesus on my back, tattoos on my neck, immortal, life forever. It's in my rap name, Double E, eternal existence. I never knew the meanings would be so powerful based upon what I would go through in society. Fix the situation that you've done to these people from R&M. I'll reap what you sow.
Yes. I hope you guys had enjoyed this testimony, documentary. I will have Mr. Earl Price, aka Double E, on the show to be interviewed by yours truly. And next week I will have activists and an orphanage owner on the show next week. So please tune in.